series of 4 talks by Judith Butler and Wendy Brown have been collaboratively convened around the Western Cape by 6 different centres. The English Department of Sociology and Social Anthropology, and the Transitions and Translations Research Theme at Stellenbosch University, the Centre for African Studies and African Gender Institute at the University of Cape Town, and the Centre for Humanities Research at the University of the Western Cape. We're delighted to introduce Judith Butler and to welcome her to the Cape in the second leg of her first visit to South Africa. Judith Butler is Maxine Elliott Professor in the Department of Rhetoric and Comparative Literature and co-director of the Program of Critical Theory at the University of California at Berkeley in the United States. She is well known to all of us as the author of a range of influential and provocative studies, including the books Subjects of Desire, Gender Trouble, Bodies That Matter, The Psychic Knife of Power, Excitable Speech, Antigone's Claim, and more recently, Undoing Gender, Precarious Life, and Frames of War. She is presently the recipient of the Andrew Mellon Award for Distinguished Academic Achievement in the Humanities, and is also active in gender and sexual politics, anti-war politics, and Jewish Voice for Peace. We've called this event a conversation, and we hope very much that it's going to unfold as such. We've tried to set up a framework that encourages reflection on how we receive and respond to Professor Butler's work from a diverse and distinct set of intellectual contexts, and from our particular locations in the South. Among other things, while engaging with or inhabiting the intellectual positions that her work offers us, we want to think seriously in this conversation about how theory travels and translates into different contexts. In what ways might we think of gender as becoming undone in the locations we inhabit and think from? How do vulnerability, precarity, and grief resonate in them? And what kinds of ethical positions do they open to us? What does it mean to critique Zionism from the Cape? And what public spaces are available for that critique? And so on. These are some of the angles from which we might wish to approach this discussion, as we return reflections from our epistemological and experiential positions to a scholar, intellectual, and activist who has offered us such valuable ways of thinking about ourselves while writing from and to the fundamentally distinct location of the Euro-Atlantic world. Finally, a note of the collaborative nature of this series. I mean, one of the points we want to make is a simple and practical one. Look what we can do, look what conversations we can convene when we work together and pool our limited resources. I think this is absolutely fabulous, and it could not have happened without the 3 universities of the Western Cape coming together. Through events like these, which in some ways build on the regional discussion that we've set up in our inaugural panel of the Locations and Locutions lecture series earlier this year, in which scholars from the 3 centres came together to think Africa from the Cape, we hope to contribute to and expand various interinstitutional conversations in the Western Cape. Presenting a series of events across 3 campuses and a public location, rather than repeating one event in different locations, we want to emphasize also the value of a regional network comprised of a set of nodes that enable intellectual mobility across proximate but quite distinctly diverse sites of engagement. The visit of Judith Butler and Wendy Brown to the Western Cape was, moreover, made possible by another intellectual node, the Johannesburg Workshop for Theory and Criticism, co-convened by Achille Mbembe at the University of the Witwatersrand, such that the regional network proves to be dependent on and opening out into the national one, which in turn interlinks with the international one. This recognition of interdependency in the face of fantasies of autonomy is, of course, central to much of Professor Butler's recent work. So I'm going to hand over to her to introduce us to some of her thinking, and then we'll have an extended conversation. We're really looking forward to hearing your comments, questions, and contributions. Thank you very much.